Welcome to the ultimate guide to worship tech. In this 3-part training, you will learn how to dramatically enhance your church's use of technology without needing a huge budget or massive team.
So here we have the lyrics of a song coming up. Nobody's running this on ProPresenter. And then give it a couple seconds here. We're also going to see the lighting kick in as well. So here comes this lighting scene for Grateful.
You're going to learn about the best gear for audio, video, lighting, and automation so you can achieve excellence and eliminate distracting mistakes in worship.
So there's nobody operating that computer up there. Look, nobody in the tech booth, right?
We believe that all churches, no matter their size, can leverage the power of technology for worship. You don't need an advanced degree or a multi-million-dollar budget. At the end of this 3-part training, we hope that you'll feel inspired and gain clarity on which tools to implement next in your worship ministry. My name is Ashton Turner with churchfront.com, helping you lead gospel-centered and tech-savvy worship. I've compiled a list of all the gear and resources that we are going to cover in the Worship Ministry Toolkit, which is linked down below this video. And be sure to visit worshiptechschool.com for in-depth training, community, and support to help you implement these tools. If you haven't yet, make sure you check out video number 1 of this series, in which we cover how to build a robust sound system for worship. But in this second part of the Ultimate Guide to Worship Tech, you are going to learn about the best systems and practices for setting up a compelling lighting rig and display rig. What is the purpose of creating a compelling lighting rig? As human beings, we are emotional creatures. Emotion gives us an understanding physically and perhaps metaphysically of what is happening around us. The Bible says to love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind, and all your strength. Our emotions and our emotional lives are absolutely included in the ways that we love God, and it is necessary for us to grow in emotional maturity. You're probably thinking, well, this is good and all, but what does this have to do with lighting? And well, the answer is really everything. When designing your stage, and specifically when designing your lights, you are an emotional shepherd. You are entirely responsible for curating the external environment that will have an internal impact on the congregation. God gave us all of our senses: sight, smell, touch, hearing, taste, as the lenses with which we see the world. And just as we seek to make the sound of worship excellent, we should also seek to make the visual aspects of our services excellent. Worship is a part of the spiritual diet of any congregation. The story of the gospel is told, praise is sung, laments are told. Different parts of worship should incur certain emotions. God's glory and majesty should fill us with joy, lamenting, repenting. These things should cause us to reflect on our sinful condition. Jesus' death on the cross should be heartbreaking. His rising from the dead is miraculous and triumphant. Just as worship invokes these various feelings, so too should our lighting design. Certain colors, the dynamics of lights, all of these things add to the effect and the overall impact of worship. Big white and bright lights when singing of the resurrection, dim blue when reflecting and lamenting. As an emotional shepherd, you are drawing people into certain feelings rather than away from them. You're never controlling or manipulating emotion. You're simply bringing people in and letting God do his work. Hopefully now you can see the importance of a compelling lighting rig, and the best news is you do not have to break the bank to build your own. So let me break down the tools you are going to need when building your lighting rig. The most important piece of your lighting rig is how you control it. The Mac-based software that we use at our church, LightKey, is our #1 recommendation for lighting control. LightKey is super user-friendly and ridiculously easy to pick up and start controlling your lights with. When we switched from my DMX 3.0 to LightKey, we had it up and running for our next Sunday service. With a button-based cue and scene system, the ability to group different scenes for programming ease, and a massive amount of customization with color and effects, LightKey is hands down the best option out there. With a subscription model that is extremely affordable and seamless integration with Ableton Live, LightKey is an incredibly powerful software. There are other software options out there though, although LightKey is our recommendation. If your ministry has an extra iPad lying around, Luminaire is a great option as well. Built for iOS devices, it has the ability to control lights, set up scenes, and it has MIDI functionality if you want to automate your lighting changes. Then The next part of lighting is your lighting fixtures. So first, you are going to need ellipsoidal spotlights to front light subjects such as your pastors, worship leaders, and band members. The number of spotlights that you use really depends on how many different zones of the stage you want to have control over. The stage at our church is so small that we only really need to use 2 ellipsoidal spotlights to light the entire stage. One of the huge advantages of ellipsoidal spotlights is that you have a lot of control over your beam of light. This results in clean lighting design because you don't have light spilling onto other parts of your stage. For every pair of front spotlights, you're going to want to have at least 1 backlight. Fresnels are great fixtures for this purpose because they can create a warm hair light that creates a nice separation from the subject and their background. The next fixtures that we recommend are LED lights. These lights act as your side fill and backlights, and they provide color for the visual aesthetic. You can also fill out your space with movers or LED bars depending on your ministry's wants and needs. Finally, the last tool to use is a haze machine. Haze machines will give your lights, and especially your LEDs, a very present and atmospheric effect, enhancing the visual experience of your lights. The very last step to completing your lighting rig is connecting everything through DMX cabling so that your fixtures can talk to each other and your lighting software. Intelligent LED lighting fixtures will have DMX in and out jacks so you can daisy chain them together easily. Traditional incandescent fixtures like ellipsoidal spotlights will need to be plugged into a dimmer pack, and the dimmer pack will receive DMX commands to increase or decrease lighting intensity. But we have talked a lot about how lighting can enhance mood, the best software to control your lights with, and the tools that you're going to need to light subjects on stage. But there is another part to visual utility and aesthetic that we should discuss: your screen and display. Having a good display is massively important for a few reasons. Today, people consume through video. Almost everyone, and especially people closer to my age, are constantly surrounded by visual stimulus. It's a new language and a new way to communicate. Many churches have visual announcements, whether as stills or video. Many churches have a small bumper video for the sermon, and then obviously having a good display setup means your lyric slides and backgrounds are easy to see. Also, in many churches, visual backgrounds are replacing brick and mortar sets and backgrounds. And this is for one reason: displays are captivating. No, your worship ministry is not going to fail if you don't have an LED wall or a super impressive display, but these things do matter. As a child myself, I know how important attention is. Everything, everywhere, is trying to steal my attention. The tiny glowing screen in my pocket at church really wants to distract me with a text I should send. Yet when the lights go down, a sermon bumper plays, and the lights come back on, I'm pulled in. I'm captivated, and the worship leader or pastor has my full attention. Also, consider the fact that the dominant art form in contemporary culture is cinema. It's one of the most captivating and compelling ways to tell a story or share a message. The last piece to the importance of your display is its utility. I mean, you have to have a way to display lyrics and sermon slides. This is necessary, and you probably already have a display system at your church, but could it be better? What is the best way to control your display for lyrics, backgrounds, and sermon slides? We recommend using ProPresenter or Proclaim. Both of these software display what you need to, can split their signal for confidence monitors, and they have the ability to integrate with Ableton Live for lyric automation. Please do not use software like PowerPoint, Keynote, or Google Slides. Invest in software like ProPresenter or Proclaim because these programs were designed specifically for live presentation environments like worship gatherings. They make it easy to create unique documents for all of your worship songs and sermon presentations, and they sync up with software like Planning Center, so you can build out an entire Sunday presentation in seconds. As far as screens themselves go, at our church, we got a custom 16:9 that mounts on our trusses. We set it up and tear it down every single week. Now, what you should do for your screen and projector is entirely subjective to your ministry's needs and the space that you have available to use. But here are some important considerations. How much ambient light is in the sanctuary? Does your sanctuary have large windows letting in a lot of light? This will affect the number of lumens that you need your projector to produce, so your displays can compete with all of that ambient light. Are you going to mount them behind the screen, which usually requires a short throw projector, or are you going to mount them on the ceiling in front of the screens? Are you going to use a traditional projector and screen setup, or are you going to consider investing in an LED wall display? It is the most expensive solution, but it's significantly brighter and you don't need any projectors. We love using a widescreen and short throw projector as our background at our church because it is visually pleasing, it's budget friendly, and it can complement our lighting rig with backgrounds, and it's very useful for displaying both lyrics and sermon slides. At the end of the day, every church is going to be different. This setup works really well for us in our setup and teardown environment, but it may not work the same for you. What's important is that you take action and use the techniques and tools from this video as you go about implementing your own lighting rig and display system. If you want a vastly captivating visual experience, a large widescreen as background display will work very well. But if you simply want displays for the practicality and need to display lyrics, then by all means do that. Think about the kind of background that you want for your stage, how your lights fit into that, and then what needs your ministry has for its display. Now, what questions do you have about building a lighting and display system at your church? Please let us know down below in the comments. And what are some of your favorite tools that you have implemented at your church? We love hearing and learning from you. Download the Worship Ministry Toolkit for a complete list of all of our recommended gear. And if you're ready to implement these tools in your ministry, then check out worshiptechschool.com, where you're gonna find in-depth online courses, a community of like-minded leaders, and live support from the church front team. So visit worshiptechschool.com to learn more. Thanks for watching, and keep an eye out for the next video in this Worship Tech training series.